There was a time, not too long ago, where you could make a bold statement to the world with just 3 words on a bumper sticker from your local bookstore that said, "Kill your television." And now, it's not quite that simple. I believe that what people were often trying to say, or still are trying to say, by "kill your television" or "I don't watch TV," is that they are above it because it is understimulating and uninteresting and annoying, and there's nothing that appeals to them about it. So it, can have some ego to it. I mean, oftentimes ego looks for clever ways to separate, and I feel that for people on the spiritual path, they become more aware of the ego, so the ego tries to get a little bit more clever. I can't remember any point in history in which there was nothing on TV that appealed to me. I think during the first 6 months of my spiritual awakening, I remember a period where I was just so involved in spirituality and learning how the internet worked, because I wanted to do business on the internet, that maybe I was only watching Northern Exposure reruns on the Hallmark Channel. But I probably watched more than that, and I just can't remember it. But TV was definitely not a big part of my life. But there's always been something that's been appealing to me. And one of the points I wanted to make in this video is that there's a lot of integration going on right now. There is tiny little screens on your phone in which you can watch video. And, of course, the other extreme would be like an IMAX theater where there's a big screen with projected film. And in the middle of those extremes is good old-fashioned TV. It's now perhaps a high-definition monitor or whatever, but everything is being integrated and will continue to be integrated. So it's not just what is on network programming, as it was a short time ago. There are many different channels, hundreds of channels to choose from, thousands of different programs to choose from. And to say you don't like any of it, to me, can come across as ego and an attempt to be superior or elitist. Also, there are people that say, well, I just finished watching Mad Men Season 2 on DVD. I don't watch TV, but I, will rent programs on discs, and or I'll watch it on the internet. And it's like still trying somehow to keep that edge of superiority. And it's still TV. Mad Men is a TV program. And the television monitors are more and more going to be integrating internet content. So there's another genre of folks who will say, well, I'll watch spiritual videos on the internet, but I won't watch television because nothing's good on there. And in such cases, I feel that it's not so much about the size of the screen that you're watching something on, it's the content. And so you could be watching something you consider spiritual that's actually like fear-filled and paranoia-oriented, kind of like Illuminati, David Icke, or end-of-the-world stuff or whatever. And that could be, in terms of its vibration, much more fear-oriented than, let's say, Moyers and Company on PBS or Charlie Rose on PBS. I like several shows on PBS. I also like Nova and Frontline, some of their documentaries. And it's on TV. And I don't care, about the source. I care about, does it resonate for me? So what it all boils down to is content and screen size. There's little screens, medium-sized, computer-sized, screens, slightly larger TVs, and then you get, you can go to a movie theater if you want to see a big screen. And it doesn't really matter, ultimately, what screen size you prefer. It's about content. And so as everything becomes integrated, that TV content is more and more going to be available through the internet on other devices, and internet content is more and more going to be available on these newer televisions that you can easily access internet information through. It's all just boils down to video and audio. And if you hate all versions of that, you've never liked a single film that you've ever seen, or you like a film but you would never watch it on a TV screen, only on a theater screen, you know, it's rejecting an entire form of communication, which obviously if you're watching this video, you're not completely closed down to. So, you know, again, watch out for ego when it comes to judgments about media, because you can look through another show or two I like. The Daily Show and the Colbert Report on Comedy Central I think is really good satire. There are some clever comedies. I think 30 Rock, The Office, Parks and Recreation, I think those are really well written as well. They're on TV. Of course, you can watch them in other forms, but they are TV shows. And another form of ego is just saying, well, I don't like TV, I like books. And again, I think this is just another opportunity for ego to be superior, because there are various forms of books that could be escapist, kind of like thrillers, or, you know, escapist romance stories or whatever like that. That's not particularly high vibrational stuff. So, and you know, you could be reading really great books, great literature, and nonfiction, and learning about the world through books and stuff. But that's not a necessarily better form in and of itself. There are certain forms of video information that can be more interesting, stimulating, and so forth than certain books. It's just medium. So I say drop the ego about what form of information you like. I also feel it's important to just go ahead and explore anything that you have an interest in, even if you think other people might judge it. Like, I've run into a lot of spiritual people that they have some kind of thing that's you know, generally considered silly, but they like Real Housewives of New Jersey, or the Jersey Shore. I don't want to just limit this to New Jersey type programs. So I've watched Real Housewives of Orange County a lot, because I think that I'm interested in the emptiness of when you have money but it doesn't fulfill you, and you're looking for relationships to fulfill you, but that's still empty as well. And so kind of observing different forms of humanity through different programs that are generally considered stupid or whatever like that. And if you don't have the charge because you just get that it's stupid and don't have an interest in watching it, that's all cool too. But I think that instead of trying to just skip over everything that you think is silly or beneath you, you know, tune in to your interests and see what you want to watch. If you like comedy, if you like certain TV shows, don't think that you're less spiritual. I think that is ultimately, you know, what I'm getting at here, is that as we get into the spiritual path, the ego gets frightened, because it's like, oh, you know, I can't imagine life without me. You know, a life without me, the ego. So what can I use to separate? I know, television, but it's just content and screens. That's what it all boils down to, is what kind of content are you interested in, and what kind of screens do you want to watch these different forms of content upon. And I say remove shame from the whole process, because there's no need to feel either shame or superiority, because it's just information, opportunities to learn about the world and about yourself.